So what? You think you can survive a horror movie? Dip out before anything happens or be able to avoid death like the plague?
Fuck this.
I mean, we've all seen horror movies before and are bewildered by the choices they've made, whether that be running up the stairs, standing still to meet their demise, or reading some foreign language to summon hell itself.
Kunda.
Today we're going to be talking about horror movie logic and why I think horror movies get a bad rap. Horror movie logic is a broad term, and for this video, I'm going to use it to mean people doing illogical things that accidentally hinder or harm themselves, aka people just being people. See, horror movies set themselves apart from other movies generally because of how realistic the people have to be. For example, let's look at action movies. In all reality, you'd probably be dead the second 5 men with guns burst into your house. Let's be honest, this would be us right here, hoping not to die. But action movies can't be relatable. If they were, you'd practically be making a horror movie, like Green Room or The Strangers. No, the people in action movies have to be quite capable, or else it wouldn't be a fun action movie to watch. You can't really insert yourself into the place of someone like John Wick, nor are you supposed to. Horror movies fulfill a different purpose. That is, to scare you. To place everyday normal people against overwhelming odds. And generally speaking, your average person doesn't expect to be in a horror situation. You hear a bump in the night, odds are you're going to look to see what fell over. I do this 10 out of 10 times and have yet to encounter a demon or a monster. Yet if we watch a horror movie, our expectations now shift to you need to uproot your life, sell the house, and move. But yet in a movie like The Santa Claus, Scott Calvin can hear a clatter on the roof, and this psychopath walks outside in his underwear, and no one bats an eye. But it's not a horror movie, so no one's in danger of dying. Kinda. So we can't really hold a kids movie to the same standard as one made for adults, right? Surely the people should have more common sense in a horror movie. But here's the unfortunate truth. Average people don't always do the most logical things in stressful situations. For instance, stop, drop, and roll. That's drilled into our head at a young age because people's first instincts are to run, which fuels the flame more. And even with this knowledge, who knows if you remember it if you found yourself in that unfortunate situation. This is why I'd like to introduce you to horror movie watcher logic, or the Dunning-Krueger effect, but for like horror movies. The Dunning-Krueger effect is the idea that people overestimate their skills or knowledge. For instance, majority of people think they are above average at driving, a stat that, of course, literally can't be true. Or if you're more of a sports fan, it's like watching a game and thinking, I can do that. And yes, I'm guilty of this too. I think I could play better than this, and although it can never be proven, I probably can't. And as an added bonus, it also shows that people who are less competent in something tend to hold themselves at a higher standard in that area as well. For instance, someone who has never been in a situation that can cause extreme stress might believe themselves to be better at handling it, overriding blind panic for a more logical approach. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, I'm just going to be blunt. You're probably going to die in a horror movie. Let's look at a short called Mama, for instance. You see this lady rolling up on you, you're high on adrenaline, your instincts kick in. Now to choose your own adventure. Do you engage with the fight, flight, or the ever-elusive freeze? That's a trick question. It's called instincts for a reason. You don't really have a choice here. Even if you're trained for highly stressful situations, a lady crawling out of a TV or a floaty-haired lady running towards you at Mach 10 is bound to complicate things internally. These girls ran up the stairs. Bad move, right? One of the horror movie cliches? Well, first of all, it's better than what I would have done. If this thing was running up on me, I would just stand there. My brain is not equipped to process this. The best it's got is to stand there and clench up in an effort to save me some dignity and death. But going up the stairs was a good move. And sometimes a monster chases you up the stairs, and sometimes it takes 20 seconds because it decides to go up backwards. It's a gamble you have to take. A gamble that gave at least one of the girls a chance to make it into the room. Of course, locking her sister out in the process. Which, by the way, big ups to this girl. She woke her sister up, brought her out of her room, just to pull the old switcheroo, run back to the same room, and lock her sister out, to be used as fodder. She's got that killer instinct. I mean, ruthless, sure. And is the monster going to be happy with just getting one of the girls? Who knows, but you know what? It's worth a try, I guess. So, kudos to her. But it's not just her. If you look at something like The Ring, the main girl survived. She solved the case. She figured out how to beat it. While I just pretend I didn't get a phone call at all and spend the next 7 days hoping it just go away and probably end up like this. The point being is, I feel like people like to focus on all the questionable things characters do in horror movies, but ignore all the relatively impressive things that they also do. I mean, I could only imagine how hard it is to Google helpful answers for hauntings. You search demon haunting my house, and almost all the results are 10 ways to confirm you're being haunted. Which, by the way, seems like a cruel joke, Google. I've already decided I'm haunted. That's why I'm here. And when you do find a form to get answers, you get things like, try to limit your social media intake. Not bad advice, but seems not really helpful when this thing's roaming around my basement. Or a top comment like, I'm sorry for what you're going through, man, but most of all, thank you for using paragraphs because this is the first long post I've been bothered to read in a long time. Which is hilarious. People in horror movies make this look effortless. I mean, how are you even supposed to Google this? Or better yet, they end up just finding a book on it, leading them to find out things like red tape blocks ghosts, which aren't actually even ghosts, but instead creatures from like other dimensions. I mean, you'll find me getting dusted before I ever figured that out. And let's be real, this is the exorcist that people in movies find versus the exorcist that you'd probably find.
In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, I command demons of hemorrhoids. I am casting you out, evil spirits, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Hemorrhoid demons, come out!
And now, I'm not saying that every horror movie is actually incredibly well written. In fact, most of them are actually bad. But I'll leave you with this. Just consider all the illogical things people around you do every day. Now think back to all the stupid things people do in horror movies. And try not to think of, was that stupid or not? But rather, does it make sense when you don't hold them to the same standard you do for other movie genres? And instead consider them what they're meant to be? Average people, because you'll never really know how you'd act in a situation until you're in one. And some of those actions you'd probably take would seem pretty stupid, even to you, later on. So, what do you think? Would you survive a horror movie? If you liked the video, consider giving it a like, and subscribe if you want to see more of what I have to offer. Thank you guys for watching.